Hi, it's River. If you haven't seen any of our videos, this channel is dedicated to our system providing a different representation, primarily focusing on the early stages of finding out about one another. If you don't know what system means, it's a term that people who are diagnosed or feel like they have dissociative identity disorder, which is more known as multiple personality disorder, what they identify as to describe the collective pieces of consciousness or alters or identity in their body. So my body, my system, we are not firmly diagnosed. We're working on the diagnosis with our psychiatrists, and we're just trying to present like a social reality. So these videos are not supposed to be taken as educational. We never want people to watch our videos and be like, take that and be like, this is what it's like for everyone or most people, or trying to learn from it. It's just like providing you insight to one person's experience with this disorder. So that's pretty much it. The video I wanted to make today is talking about sense of self and how we experience dissociation in our system. This is going to be a very difficult video for me to make. I already tried filming it once. I know you probably hear my dog in the background. I need to let him play with that or he's just going to lose his mind if I don't. So I'm sorry for the background noise, but this video is going to be very difficult for me to like make in a digestible manner because it's such an abstract concept that I struggle to really understand it myself. But I wanted to film it because I watched Derek's video that he posted, like Derek, one of my alters. And while watching his video, I don't really remember what it was about his video, and I even tried to go back and like skim through it, and I couldn't find the exact moment that I was inspired by. But one moment, I know he was talking about lack of identity within our system. So we have like, we're diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and one of the main criteria of that is lack of identity, which most of us, especially myself, struggle with. And when Derek was trying to describe what we now understand, because we spoke to our friend about it, as sense of self, he described it as lack of identity, which could similarly be the same thing. I don't really understand what the difference is, but yeah, I think Derek was mostly trying to talk about sense of self and not so much lack of identity, because some of my system members believe that, you know, they have formulated, grounded identity. So and I don't know if I said it because I'm already forgetting if I said I'm also going to talk about dissociation in our system. So let's segue into that topic because that was a great example. How we experience dissociation is we don't have blackouts between us. So it's not like when I front, I only remember what I did when I was fronting, and then when Derek fronts, he only remembers what he did when he was fronting, and so on and so on. That's not how it works. For the most part, we can remember everything that each other does when fronting, if that person, that alter, can remember it as well. And if that individual can, then no one in the system can. So that's like understood as like general amnesia from what I understand. So I'm getting nervous because my cat's in the litter box, my dog's playing with his toy. It's a lot of noise going on, so I'm getting overwhelmed. But that's primarily what we how we experience dissociation. That was a great example because also dissociation could be losing your train of thought. And I know that's a very, very common experience, losing your train of thought, but it's experienced in my system as almost the exact same way that I feel like a typical person would experience losing their train of thought. It's just like you're speaking and then all of a sudden you no longer remember what you can remember. The difference is it's more chronic and it's more detrimental. So one of the things I think people might forget about mental illness as a whole is to be diagnosed, you have to have, it has to take a toll on your life. It has to impair your daily functioning, and it has to be something that happens frequently. So losing your train of thought, yes, that could be understood as dissociation. However, if it happens once every blue moon, it's not dissociation. Or I shouldn't say it's not dissociation, because I think like clinically losing your train of thought could be dissociation, or just like, I don't know what it's called, like brain fog or something. But if it's happening like multiple times throughout a day or multiple times throughout a week or whatever, And then that's when you know there's something more clinically wrong with it. Or I shouldn't say wrong, that's like a negative word. Me and my strength-based language. What does it matter? But yeah, it's you have to figure out how much of a toll it's taking on your life. So I struggle with this, like losing my train of thought often, and it's in periods where I feel more stress. So there was noise going around with my cat, my dog, and I was getting anxious because of the noise and the sensory, so I lost my train of thought. So yeah, that's like one quick example that I could talk about too. Another example is it's like depersonalization. We don't experience this often, but one moment that I always have a clear memory in my mind, I don't remember the whole however long this was going on for, but I remember one piece of it, which was I was in the hospital. I was in a group in the hospital, very dissociated, I believe, but don't hold me to it. It was when back in 2018 when I originally felt like I was having, like I originally felt like I just heard my cat do that deep cat growl to my dog, and I need to have my ears perked up in case something happens. But back in 2018 when I originally discovered my system and my abuse and all that stuff. So I looked at I don't know who it was, so I'm just gonna say or I might use we. Like Derek said, it's force of habit. We try to use them interchangeably, or we try to use them in an appropriate way. So when we're talking about a system, we try to say we, and when we talk about us as individuals, we try to say I, but we're still learning, so we still make mistakes. But one of us looked at our hands and was like, what the hell? Whose hands are these? And it wasn't like, that was made it sound like it was like comical. It was like very like disoriented and like alarming, and not in like I look down and like next thing I know there's like truly someone's hands I've never seen on my body before, like someone who's like a different skin complexion or someone who has a different kind of hand shape. It was like just not knowing that those were my hands, and I think a little bit being like, what are these in the first place? So just like not feeling grounded in my body, not being able to identify my body part type of thing. Also what dissociation could feel like. I didn't prep this video. We never prep our videos, which I know we can make such better videos if we just prep and do like a loose script, but that's not the way we do our videos. So I'm trying to think of another video. Another way dissociation manifests in our system. We often just generally are not grounded in the body. I think this is the topic that Derek said that inspired this video, but like that's like not being in tune with our emotions, could be just not listening in the present moment, but that could also be like ADHD stuff. So there's a lot of overlap, so I don't really know what is what. It's complex. That's why, although self-diagnosis is very important and valid, it's also really important to get medical guidance, because there's so many more things it could be. Like for instance, I originally thought my dissociative amnesia was ADHD because I just thought I wasn't paying attention all the time, which is what I was just talking about. So now I understand that as I wasn't just not paying attention my whole life. Like that's just not realistic. It's dissociative amnesia. Sorry, my dog's right here. So just not being grounded at all in the present moment, not being able to identify my emotions, not being able to, I'm trying to explain this experience, but like now I've spoken to my doctor about this, because as you saw in this video, I'm really struggling with sensory overstimulation, because, and I spoke with him and I'm like, I don't know if it's because of, I'm just now like not dissociating as much now that I've been in therapy and I'm learning about my system, and or so I'm just dissociating less. So I'm experiencing things more vividly for the first time, and or this is something I've always experienced, but I was dissociating from it. So like I was shoving it down and it just wasn't registering to me. And that's why professional guidance is so important, because my doctor, with his expertise, we can work this through together. But yeah, it's like I've never been like, it's almost like experiencing life with like gloves on. Like you can feel everything, but can you really feel it? Can you feel the texture? Can you feel the heat? Like I think maybe you can feel the heat with gloves on, but like not as severe as like, or hot as cold as it truly is. There's like some layer of like barrier between you and the thing you're trying to experience. So I would say that's a good analogy to explain how my baseline of just always, and by I, again, I mean my system, how our baseline was just dissociation. It feels like, like people will describe BPD about, and I don't think this is appropriate because I almost kind of feel like it's disrespectful to burn victims, but they'll be like, it's almost like they have one less layer of skin, or that they have 1 degree of like burns on their skin, so their skin is very sensitive. If I just made that up about the burn victims, I'm very sorry, because like I said, I don't think that's appropriate, but I believe I've heard that. So it's like with BPD, it's like you're more sensitive, and it's funny because I say I have BPD, then I'm also saying I'm dissociating. It's like, make up your mind. But I do have BPD, and I will be diagnosed, as my doctor says, with some kind of dissociative disorder. He doesn't think the DSM-5 has DID. I'm not gonna get into that right now. But so people with BPD say you're more sensitive to things, and with our system, our dissociation made us less sensitive to these experiences we were having on a daily basis. So I would say those are like the more common things we experience with like dissociation. Like I said, I didn't prep this video, so there's probably a few more, but I don't know. So I don't know if it's only 11 minutes. I'll talk about sense of self. So sense of self. So this is, again, not supposed to be educational, so please don't watch this and try to take this as something you can learn. If you watch this video and you feel inspired, which I hope you do, look into it yourself. So sense of self, from what we understand, is just your ability to like feel like a person. Like, I don't know how to describe it. We learned it from our friend, and that's why I feel like I'm not doing a good job. But it's like your ability to describe your internal perception of yourself. So like what your values are, what your interests are, what your hobbies are, how you experience your life, how you describe your personality, just how you think you are as a person, whereas lack of identity is more so like, again, what your interests are, yes, but like, what do you align with? What are your philosophies? They're very similar, but a little different. And for this video, because I don't really know enough about it, I'm gonna use them interchangeably just to make it easier for this video. But in the sense of like our system, so some of our headmates, or my headmates, or alters, or my parts. I don't like saying my parts because like there's parts of me, River, and then there's like parts which are like my alters. So I don't like parts language for myself with DID, because I think it's just confusing. So, and then alters feels really clinical too. So me and my headmates talked about, headmates just feels like it just feels like a weird word to me. I think there was a word we did use before, but I don't remember what it was. I'll just say alters because everyone understands alters. Some of my alters do feel like they have full-rounded, grounded personalities and identities, whereas myself and some of the others, I would say, don't have that confidence to really know. Now, granted, could my friend or my partner tell you what my identity is? Probably. Or could they describe me? Probably. If you asked me to, you would get 3 bullet points on a page. I would have no idea how to describe myself. I don't know what my values are. I don't know. It's like, it's hard to, I'm getting better at it, but like big things like values and like, I don't know, like political opinions, or like, I don't know if political values are like what you align with politically and stuff, but like religious, like those things I knew, but like my interest, what I want to do with my profession, what I want to study in school, what I want to spend my time doing, what I want to have as my interior design. I'm looking around and like seeing that, but a lot of those things, now that I say this out loud, I definitely have a sense of identity. I have grown. I'm gonna scrap this, okay? Because we need to stop saying we don't. I need to stop saying I don't, because I definitely have a sense of identity. I just completely validated myself on camera. That was amazing. I'm going to say, so I did I'm just going to talk about something else for why I did, not the same thing, but the different side of the coin. Sorry, my dog's playing with this toy. I did psychodynamics therapy. In the province that I live in Canada, psychiatric residents had to complete 1 year of psychodynamics therapy. So I did it with someone who I did great work with and I feel like part of my growth as an individual, and I would say my system, was from the work we did. And one of the things I remember him encouraging me to really explore was identity. And I feel like I'm finally at a point where I have an identity. I don't want to talk about it on camera because we do try to like not have, it's not the purpose of this channel. If you want to know what my home interior design decor is, it's post-modern century, post-modern century, or modern century. I think something like that. I don't remember, but something mid-century modern. That's what it is. I can say that much. I don't mind saying that. But shh, that's enough. That's enough. He wants to play. But yeah, my values. I'm not gonna get into this right now. There's no reason. But yeah, I just fully realized on camera I have an identity. That might sound like that won't sound like a big deal to you because you don't know me as a person, but that's a big deal for me. So sorry to make the last 5 minutes of the video boring, but I hope you liked the video. I think I did a good job, better than my first rough draft. So yeah, I'm gonna play fetch with my dog now. Take care.